Radio Now 100.9's Indy Connection with Emily Matheny.
Hello, I'm Emily Matheny, your host. This week, Lindsay Johnson, a community outreach coordinator for the Indiana Donor Network, joins the show to tell us about the organization and their outreach to encourage people to become organ donors.
Indiana Donor Network is the organ procurement organization for the state of Indiana, and we actually do all the recoveries for organ tissue and some eyes for the state, for those to be transplanted to save lives. And then we also have just general efforts for raising awareness about donation, educating people about the importance of signing up and saying yes at the BMV and being a donor.
How does someone become a donor?
So when somebody becomes a donor, there's got to be a tragic accident or something that has to have happened to cause a death to be a potential donor, obviously. And with that, if they have said yes at the BMV, we would be able to see that on our Indiana Donor Registry to see that they made that decision to be a hero. And we would be able to share that with a family, and then we would get involved at that point at the hospital to be able to move forward and start discussion and testing for transplant.
Excellent. And right now we're in April, which is National Donate Life Month. Can you talk a little bit about the month and what it means?
Yeah. So National Donate Life Month is our favorite month around here because it's our best way to go ahead and raise awareness about donation. We're celebrating those that have received an organ as well as tissues and recognize those that are actually currently waiting on the transplant waiting list. But then we're also honoring our donor heroes and their families and thanking the registered donors that have said yes and giving the gift of hope to somebody else in the future.
And why is it so important to have a month dedicated to celebrating the heroes and bringing awareness to organ donation?
Well, because we've got over 100,000 people waiting for a life-saving organ, and including nearly about 1,100 of those here in Indiana. So we need more people to say yes and give the gift of life. So we're trying to save lives. And just by simply saying yes to the BMV can literally change somebody's life and be able to walk their daughter down the aisle one day that they might not be able to do that.
And you've mentioned multiple times, because we want people to say yes when they're at the BMV. Are there other ways people can register to be an organ donor?
Yes, there are multiple ways. You can actually go to donatelifeindiana.org and click sign up, and it'll take about 30 seconds, and it's the exact same way as if you were saying yes at the BMV. If we have activations across the state, we have the opportunity for people to register that way. And then if you are in the process of getting your hunting and fishing license through the DNR, we actually ask if you'd like to be a donor during that transaction as well.
And if I've already said yes at the BMV and I've got the little heart on my license, do I need to sign up anywhere else, or is just being at the BMV, getting it done there, all that I need to do?
Yep, that is all you need to do.
So simple 30 seconds yes can save. How many lives can you save through organ donation?
So there are 8 organs that we can actually transplant, but then a person can be a tissue and cornea donor as well that can save and heal up to 75 lives. So total, 83 people could be saved or enhanced in some way, shape, or form just by somebody saying yes.
That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing? I know.
And if people want to learn more about organ donation, or is there a way they can see some of these hero stories?
Yes, you can visit indianadonornetwork.org and donatelifeindiana.org, and both of those will be able to share many stories that can be inspirational and see how somebody's life was saved by donation.
Can you talk a little bit about Drive to Save Lives and race car driver Ryan Newman's advocacy?
Yeah. So our Driven to Save Lives program is just another way of us to reach more people about the importance of donation. It's kind of that race community. And he has just helped us connect with talking to people from a kind of a celebrity status and sharing with them the importance of why it is you should say yes. He was definitely moved by Brian Clausen, who was an organ donor and lost his life during a race accident. And he is a close family friend with them. And he is using that story to hopefully spread awareness and explain how he was a donor hero and why everybody should say yes.
We've been talking a lot about deceased donation. Is there a way that I can donate organs or tissue while I'm still alive?
Yes, that is referred to as a living donor. If you are a fairly healthy individual and 18 years or older, you have the potential of gifting your kidney. And kidney is actually the number one organ in need in the nation and in the state of Indiana. And you would visit your local transplant center. There would be some testing involved, but if you were able to pass those tests, you could give your kidney, because everybody's born with two, and you can still live a happy, healthy life with just one. So you can give your kidney to somebody else, save their life. They're no longer on the wait list, and nobody has to die.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm over the age, and then I'm also wanting to get involved with the Indiana Donor Network, how else can I get involved and work to share this mission?
Yeah. If you visit Donate Life Indiana or Indiana Donor Network, both of them have the opportunity for you to click a button called Get Involved, and you can sign up to be an advocate. We would then reach out to you and provide you with different opportunities, everything from filling envelopes with information that's going to go out and educate people, all the way to coming out and doing presentations with our team if you have a connection to donation. But just working alongside recipients and donor families and living donors, and just being surrounded by those that have been impacted by donation. It's pretty phenomenal to be a volunteer here.
So, Lindsay, is there anything else that you really want people to take away from this interview about either signing up to be a donor, getting involved, anything? Yeah,
I think the biggest impact is every day, 17 people die every day waiting for a transplant. And we want that number to get down to zero. And the only way we can do that is by people signing up and saying yes.
How many people in Indiana are registered donors?
We've got a little over 4 million currently, and we've got about 6 million in the state. So we're doing well, but we need more. We need more people to say yes.
And if I am just getting my driver's license, if I'm going to the BMV for a new ID, and I've made this decision, but there are people in my life who are concerned about me becoming a donor, how do I start that conversation so they understand why I'm doing this and how it's not going to affect my medical care?
Yeah, well, education is key. And a lot of times when we have some families that are apprehensive about their loved ones saying yes, that's where we use our websites to have some of those frequently asked questions answered. Sit down and have that conversation with your family. Open up our website at Indiana Donor Network and read some of those questions, understand the education behind it, because a lot of it is just myths and misunderstandings, and just knowing the impact that somebody could make. And, you know, we're ethically always doing the right thing and supporting our donor families, supporting all of our, advocates here, and, just people understanding the true impact behind it. And yes, having that conversation with your loved ones is so important. Making the decision, if you have said yes, that's wonderful, but make sure you share your family that you said yes and why, because you could truly affect their decision in the future too.
Mm-hmm. And let's say, unfortunately, I do die, and can my family stop the gift of life that I'm passing along if I'm a registered donor?
For organ donation here in the state of Indiana, if you are 18 years or older, that is a legally binding document, and that's a decision that you make as an adult. So that is why that question is, asked, for us to get somebody's decision before they've passed so they know what they would want. So if something were to unfortunately happen and somebody ends up at the hospital, we see that they made their decision at the BMV to say yes, we would move forward with donation. We also keep the family in the loop the entire time. We have staff that walk them through the entire process, but we do our job by executing and make sure that we do what that person would have wanted and save somebody else's life through transplant.
Mm-hmm. And that's really amazing that you have staff who are able to help the family go through this process so they're not alone.
Yeah, and they're there with them as long as they're there. So if the family's there, then our staff is going to be there with them, answer all the questions they might have. And then we even have, it's called an Aftercare support department, where we keep in contact with the family for over a year, even after their loved one passes away, to provide them grief support and also keep them in the loop of the things that we're doing about donation and opportunities for them to get together with other donor families to celebrate their loved ones with somebody who's gone through what they've gone through.
And that's why it is so important that there is this National Month celebrating what people have done.
Celebrating all forms of organ, tissue, and eye donation, whether that is somebody who's given a kidney, somebody who has unfortunately lost their life and said yes, or that person that's lost their life, their sister or their wife or their daughter, supporting them and being the donor family side of things as well.
And Lindsay, as we start to wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Ultimately, I just hope this stirs up conversation in somebody's home to talk about donation, and hopefully they make the decision to say yes.
And one last time, can you give the ways that people can register to be a donor?
You can register at the BMV during your transaction for a license or credential. You can visit donatelifeindiana.org and click sign up, or you can also sign up during your hunting and fishing license transaction online.
Thank you for joining me this week, and please join me again next week. If you want to reach out or have topics you'd like to hear more about or would like me to cover, email me at ematheny, that's EMETHENY, at radio-one.com. Or you can hit me up on Twitter at EmilyDoesVideo. To hear previous editions of Indy's Connection, visit RadioNOWIndy.com and search Indy's Connection at the top. Until next time, have a great week.
Radio Now 100.9's Indy Connection with Emily Matheny.